Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be exploring the internet computer just changed everything and why I believe something big is brewing in the ICP ecosystem. As you guys know, I have been a big internet computer bull effectively since the bear market. We realized after the FTX collapse that there was clear manipulation of the price of ICP, and we were able to kind of guesstimate that a lot of that manipulation potentially came from the FTX Alameda crew, counter trading the market. We also saw FTX was, basically listing perpetual futures of the ICP crypto at launch, but didn't actually list the actual ICP crypto on their exchange. They did this with many other cryptos as well. Some competition to Solana, competition to FTT token. Similar coins were Litecoin. They didn't list, but they had perpetual futures contracts on. Cardano, they didn't list, but they had perpetual futures contracts on. And when we look at the price activity of these coins, they highly underperformed, especially the Solanas of the world and the FTT tokens of the world. But now, as we've been kind of following ICP since 2023 at the low of $2.93, going all the way up to $20, doing an 8x from 2023 to 2024, we've been extensively following this ecosystem. And now everything has changed. This is the Cryptoviser podcast. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button. You can look at our other internet computer or just general crypto news videos right here on the channel. We upload every single day, and thumbs up are free. Internet computer coins are not free. Anyway, moving right along, what has changed? Well, this is the internet computer dashboard, or I should say the new dashboard, which shows us more information, gives us more of an at-glance view of what ICP is doing, what Dfinity is developing, and what has already been deployed on the ecosystem. This is way more robust than we've ever seen. It's way more explanatory and has way more data than any other blockchain out here, including the majors like Solana. By the way, unknown fact by many, there is no metric to understand how many smart contracts are on Solana today. We still do not know that number, and there's no way to actually find that number out. Meanwhile, we have dashboards on pretty much all the other ecosystems like internet computer, and Dfinity has just changed the game. So let's kind of review what is on and what is new on the internet computer dashboard, and maybe kind of do a little bit of a deep dive into some of these new things that many of you probably didn't even know about internet computer. But let's start right here with the network. So as you guys know, the internet computer network is fairly robust and decentralized with nodes all over the world. Some of these are centralized nodes run by Dfinity and the Dfinity teams, and some of them are individual independent nodes, sometimes run by corporations or individuals. What you can see here is there are 571 node machines that run the internet computer or the world computer around the world, 94 node providers, 79 data centers, 60 owners, and 54 regions throughout the world. And based on this map, you can see where every single node is. You can understand who the owner is, go into the individual data center to see how many nodes they have, how long they've been running, what the activity has been with them, and more. We're not going to kind of do a full deep dive on that today, but this is one of the things that you can do. What else? Let's kind of scroll down here. Now this shows us the current transaction throughput. Now the circle burn rate is here, and this is the rate at which cycles are burned on the internet computer. Remember, when you create a smart contract, that's called a canister on internet computer. You have to essentially fund the smart contract to operate, and this is what's called cycles. So you fund a cycle by burning ICP, and then when the cycles are burned, the ICP is redistributed. I guess that's the way to put it. Anyway, cycles are burned when canisters consume the resources such as computation, memory, and storage, right? So you're kind of preloading a cycle which pays for the computation, memory, and storage. The USD value shown right here is an approximation of the daily burn rate. So this would effectively tell us and represent, what the revenue on or the burn of money, right? how much is running through the system every day to compute all that's being transacted on internet computer. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible to understand without getting too technical. And if you like that kind of thing, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up. So what you can see here is it also gives a comparison with the Ethereum equivalent transactions. This was on the previous dashboard, number of transactions per second. This shows the number of update and query transactions executed per second across the Internet Computer blockchain. As you guys know, Internet Computer has very, very high throughput, over 7,000 transactions per second. It's very in line with the likes of Polygon, Solana, very high throughput. Cardano and Ethereum, they don't have as high of throughput. So they would not be able to process the type of data that Internet Computer can process, like computational data and AI compute data as well. And then they have some stuff about the nodes. You can actually go in and see where all the nodes are located, who owns them, how they're performing and all of that. And so again, you can see this is a very robust dashboard. They even show you the power consumption for the carbon footprint. This estimated power consumption of all the node machines on the Internet Computer measured in kilowatts. So right now it looks like the kilowatt in I guess this is 24 hours, is 337 kilowatts. Is that high or not? I really have no idea. Let me know down below. Million instructions executed per second. This is the number of instructions executed per second across all canister smart contracts on the Internet Computer, measured in millions. So we're seeing 67,475,000, if I'm seeing that correctly. And let's look at it over the last 1 year, because we really want to see what the progress is or was. What you can see is towards the middle to end of 2024, we saw a huge uptick in Internet Computer instructions. I would imagine a lot of this has to do with the AI development and AI deployment that they were doing back in 2024, and probably companies and developers testing it all out. Kind of leveled out for a while till the end of 2024. In the beginning of 2025, it picked up a little bit again, and that was probably the meme coin craze and the AI kind of speculative craze, and then everything came back down, but it's still higher than it was last year. Now over here, we can see the canister smart contracts. This is a very important metric because it gives more insight into how much smart contract usage is on the Internet Computer. So this is the total number of registered canister smart contracts running on the Internet Computer. So currently we're at about 921,000. And if we go back to the 1 year ago, it was about almost 500,000. So basically almost doubled the number of dApps and code units and canister smart contracts on the Internet Computer. And again, I go back to that widely unknown fact that if you go try to do it, I want to know how many smart contracts are deployed on the Solana blockchain. Impossible to know. Impossible to know. There's no metric for that, which is pretty astounding in my view. Anyway, you can see the transaction throughput as well, which is higher. You can see right here, the purple line is queries and the green line is updates. I don't know the difference between. I would imagine a query is more actual transaction processing of the smart contracts, where updates are just adjusting a smart contract, maybe terms or whatever. But you can see that at least on the 1 year chart, we took a little bit of a dip into the middle of 2024, middle to end of 2024, a lot of volatility, a lot of moves to the upside and downside, but it looks like things are starting to heat up on Internet Computer. And again, this is where I was saying at the beginning of the video, I believe something is brewing. Something big is brewing. Something really good is brewing. And hopefully it's some good coffee as well, because you guys know I love coffee, especially strong coffee. And so, yeah, I think something's brewing, right? They redid this dashboard. Nobody asked them to do this, right? That's clue number one. Clue number two is we're starting to see an increase in that metric that I just showed you. The number of transactions per second has gone up basically by 50%. Because if you look at my videos from last week or the week before, transactions per second throughput on Internet Computer was just around 5,000. and historically has been around that since last year or so. And it's picking up quite substantially here, specifically in the query space. And the query space, again, from my understanding of what query is, that's actually a smart contract executing or processing versus updating. That could indicate that maybe there's some more AI stuff down the pipe that they're about to release or test or, I don't know, talk about. Because otherwise, why would we be seeing this rise? It's not like a big rise like here. This is like a banana zone rise, just straight up and then straight down. We're kind of doing a little bit of a sideways grind to the upside, right? A random walk with an upward drift, as they say. So I don't know. Is something brewing in Internet Computer Protocol? Are we about to hear something major happening with the world computer? I think that the likelihood is definitely increasing here. Now, this next metric is called the cycle burn rate. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the video, but this is the rate at which cycles are being burned on the internet computer. Cycles are burned when canister smart contract consume those resources for computation, memory, and storage. And so this is burning measured in cycles per second. So you can see on the 1-year chart, again, things started to pick up in the middle to end of 2024. And it really kind of, I would say, like leveled out until we ended 2024 and entered 2025, and we saw a lot more activity. This first jump, I would imagine, is that AI kind of pump, because AI computation, this takes up a lot of, I would imagine it takes up a lot of resources and compute power and therefore cycles. And so are we going to start picking up? Let's pull up the 1-month chart and see how it looks. It's pretty level. Let's pull up the 3-month chart. Even the 3-month chart looks like it's kind of stabilizing. And so effectively, we went at the beginning of the year from over I don't even know what this number is, trillion? That's million, billion, trillion. I don't even know what number that is. I think it's a trillion, over a trillion. And now we have half of a trillion. Yeah, that's half a trillion. So we're 50% down from just a few months ago in terms of cycle burn rate. Is that going to pick up? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Anyway, moving on with the Internet Computer Dashboard, there's so much data that we can look at here. One of the other things that I really like to look at is governance with ICP Neurons. Neurons is the staking mechanism within the Internet Computer ecosystem. ICP utility holders, the coin holders, can stake their ICP with neurons in the NNS, or Network Nervous System. This is basically, think of it, the core computer behind ICP. This is used to engage in network governance and earn voting rewards for participating in the network nervous systems. And so what we can see here on the total staked is this shows us 43% of all the coins in circulation are currently being staked. This is a very high amount, I believe. I don't even know what this number is here, to be honest with you. I guess it's dollars, and then there's supposed to be a space here, I guess right here. So $1.2 billion is staked, 233 million ICP. And what is interesting here is we've seen overall staking decreasing, but we've seen a significant increase in the long-term staking. So as you can see here on the screen, back, let's pull up the 1-year chart here. Actually, no, let's pull up the all chart. So back in a few years back, say 2021, end of 2021, early 2022, we had about 106 million ICP locked for 8 years. Now, that increased by basically 50%. I don't think that you can see this on the screen. My watermark up here is blocking it. So let's pull that down so you can see it. Here you go. So that increased by 50% in just 4 years, from 100 million to 144 million ICP staked for 8 years. And so this is long-term staking, which tells me that the people who are long-term staking believe in the ecosystem and believe that things are going to be working out in the medium and long term. And so this is another indicator that we should be looking at as well, the staking participation. We can also look at the overall network nervous system and understand how governance works in Internet Computer Protocol. And again, no other ecosystem in the top 50 has this comprehensive amount of data, comprehensive amount of metrics on their dashboards like I said, Solana, we don't even know how many smart contracts are deployed on their blockchain, which is for a top 10 crypto that's supposedly better than Ethereum. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing. Meanwhile, Internet Computer, we have so much data at our fingertips that we can learn about the ecosystem, learn about the data, and see, is this right for my investment thesis? Is this right for my investment portfolio? And again, this is why I also think something big is brewing in Internet Computer, because people who are investing from a development perspective, from an investor perspective, or even just from a user perspective, they need to be able to understand what the ecosystem is capable of with data. And this is all the data that you would need. And so governing the internet computer ecosystem, anyone can stake their ICP in the network nervous system to earn new ICP in the form of voting rewards. When your ICP is staked, it creates neurons that can vote on proposals that update, manage, and configure the network, which are executed automatically. Neurons, which are staked coins, can be configured to vote automatically by following other neurons. So basically like a proxy vote. So if you're like, I want Cryptoviser, I'm going to follow Cryptoviser's voting, effectively you could do that, right? Follow other neurons. And so this shows you the annualized rate of return. Again, you can't see it, my watermark is there. But you can see the annualized rate of return. So if you want to stake for, let's say, 2 years, you would get annualized about 8.4% rewards. Now, if you pull this all the way up to 8 years, you're getting 13.4% annualized estimated rewards. Now, again, this could change as time goes on, but this is why a lot of people are staking for 8 years, because they want 13.4% every single year. Compounding, I'm not going to do the compounding growth on this because I don't have a compounding calculator up, but let's just say 13.4 times 8 years, and let's just say it's 100%, over 100% you would get back. So yeah, it's probably more close to like 130% that you would actually have back by the end of the 8 years. And you're hoping that over time, by you having your coins staked and you're able to vote on governance proposals, that you're effectively voting and participating in the ecosystem to help make the ecosystem grow, and therefore grow the value of the ecosystem, and therefore your invested coins that are locked in staking will grow in value as well. Now, this is in theory. This is not, we don't know. This is why staking for long periods of time is always a risk. Personally, I don't like any kind of lockup. I like liquid assets. Like a house is not liquid because it could take you 10 days or 30 days to liquidate it, to sell it. Where stocks, you could pretty much just wait till Monday morning or tomorrow morning or whatever day of the week it is and sell your stock if you needed the money, right? Or if you see a better investment, you want to get out of Bitcoin and go into Ethereum, or you can't do that with a home, right? It takes time. Anyway, so yeah, we see total voting power is 133 million. It looks like ICP. Dfinity's voting power is 26%. Now, this is important because this is a centralized entity, which is the Dfinity Foundation. And one of the things that I could appreciate about Internet Computer Protocol is that they're making this data readily available. I want you to remember there's a lot of ecosystems out here where we don't know where the coins are. And so we don't know how much coin some of these foundations behind these cryptos, how much they own. We don't know how much the founder or the founding teams own. And so being able to see this with on-chain data is, in my view, amazing that they put this actually on the dashboard. I think this is a new metric. I've never seen this metric, or I just haven't paid attention to it before. But this is very interesting because it lets us know where Dfinity stands. Yes, they are still a large holder and they have a lot of voting power, but they're not the voting power, right? They only have 26% of the voting power. So effectively, they would need, I don't know what the consensus thing is. I would assume 50%, maybe 60% to push through a policy. So they would need to basically double their voting power by bringing in another entity. Maybe those are founders, developers, other whales within the ecosystem to kind of push through a proposal or deny a proposal. And we've seen that. We've talked about some of the proposals Internet Computer has had on their governance system. And we've actually, you can go in and look at who's voting on what. So, as an example, at the bottom of this page, it shows you all the proposals that have been submitted to the Internet Computer and how many people voted. And if you actually click into one of them, I want to see because there was a recent proposal that we covered on this channel, and I don't remember. You can see a lot of proposals are here. A lot of proposals. So we'll just go with one of the more recent ones and kind of take a look into it. So it says upgrade internet identity canister to this. So if you click in, it gives you a summary. It says the internet identity release for this commit. This release improves the color scheme and fixes minor user interface bugs. On top of that, it also includes work in progress for a new functionality hidden behind a flag. So basically, it's a little upgrade to the system. And so you can see here how the voting is being, how the live voting is, when the voting ends, right? So it ends, it looks like in 3 days. Total voting power voting yes, total voting power voting no, and total undecided. And then if you want to go one step deeper, just scroll to the bottom. And in the bottom, you can actually see who voted and what they voted for, which I mean, I love this because this makes it just easier for the everyday person who doesn't understand, like, okay, is this a good proposal or is this a bad proposal? Well, if you don't know, if you're not like a technical person, then you don't know necessarily how to vote on the actual proposal. And so maybe you want some guidance from what the Affinity Foundation is actually doing. So let's look at one of these that have already been approved. Actually, let's pull up one with a lot of votes. So let's see if we can't. So most of these have 271 million votes, it looks like. So it's pretty consistent. I want to see one with like more votes, but I don't see that here. They're all basically 270 million. So maybe this is like our benchmark. This is the voting power of Internet Computer. Yeah, they're basically all 270 million votes. It says here the total number of yes and no votes for the proposal. Wow. So it's like, it looks like a very core group is voting and everybody else is not. So let's just click into one of these and see. So over here, you can see for this proposal, this was to update something, update a code. And so this passed, and you can see here, Affinity Foundation was a yes vote, which is, I mean, that's pretty cool that you can actually go in and see, what they voted for, how they voted, how many votes they actually had in the actual vote. That is really awesome. I have not seen this in any other crypto ecosystem since I started following crypto. Maybe I'm just missing something, but I haven't seen this type of governance where you can scroll in and look at individual neurons, right, that are known. We know Affinity Foundation, Internet Computer Developers, somebody's crypto is God, the accumulator's neuron, right? So there's different known neurons that we can look at and see how they're voting. So if you are very aligned with what Affinity Foundation is doing and you want to be a part of that governance, number one, you could proxy your vote to Affinity Foundation where your neuron will just follow what Affinity does, or you can just go in and see who voted yes and who voted no. And if it's like a really big proposal, and let's say Affinity Foundation is voting no, but a lot of the other developers are voting yes, maybe we need to find out why Affinity is saying no and why the developers are saying yes. But this is really good to understand where the blockchain is going, and also to understand, how the community feels about the ecosystem, if that makes sense. So like you can see the 8-year DAO, these are people who are basically staking their coins for 8 years. They voted yes on this proposal as well. Synapse voted yes. CodeGov voted yes. So that's a very cool feature on Internet Computer that you can actually see everything about the governance right on the dashboard. And it's fully open for everybody to go through. You can actually go and see all the current proposals of updates that they're going to do. Some of these are just, everyday kind of just updates, like when you update an app in your phone that wasn't working. Now you can actually go in and see what they're updating, why they're updating it, what is the conversation behind it. Go look at the Internet Computer Forum, see what people are saying about it, see how people are voting on it, and then make your decision from there. Then we also have DAOs. Now, in the Internet Computer, the DAOs are considered Service Nervous System. Service Nervous System, or SNS, are decentralized autonomous organizations that allow developers to hand over their dApps to decentralized token-based governance systems. SNSs enable Web3 services to be owned and governed by their communities, evolving through proposals that respond to the desires, feedback, and voting of the communities. Each DAO has its own utility token that allows community members to stake claim and governance rights or use to purchase services, which can be used by the SNS to reward community contributions. SNS DAOs allow developers around the world to raise funds for their projects, drive viral growth, and provide users with a stake in the service, democratizing access to the tech economy. So some of those DAOs, as they call them, we already saw, right? Those are, you know, they're basically groups that are getting together to vote on different proposals. We saw that in just the previous segment that we just talked about. Here is the Neurons Fund maturity. This chart shows the total available maturity of neurons in the Neurons Fund. The Neurons Fund allows the community to participate in these launches within the internet computer ecosystem. Neurons participating in the fund expose their maturity to risks taken by the fund. This is a little bit in depth. You don't really need to understand all of that, but just basically understand that there's a lot being launched. There's a lot of DAOs already, and these DAOs do different things. And these DAOs can also release their own coins. They could have community to vote on proposals within them. And so effectively, you know, like the Estate DAO, this is a vacation real estate tokenization and rental platform on the internet computer, enabling users to invest in vacation real estate with investments as low as 100 US dollars. Now, personally, I wouldn't necessarily like buy into, you know, a tokenized real estate from internet computer currently. You know, I think it's a little bit too early, and I would need more info on like how you're really actually becoming a part owner in that. But this is live, right? And this is a DAO on the internet computer already. So again, this is part of the research that you can do for understanding whether this is the right investment for you, whether this is the right ecosystem for you, and you can explore all of these different things that the internet computer has already launched and see if it's right for you. Some it will be, some won't be, but the aggregate is this a robust ecosystem when we're comparing it to Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, etc. I mean, in my personal opinion, the answer is yes. Is it as robust as some of the other ecosystems? No, but it has the technology that is comparable or better than these other ecosystems, like chain fusion technology. Now we've talked about chain fusion technology many different times in terms of like what the internet computer is all about. Basically, chain fusion technology is the interoperability layer for internet computer. Chain fusion allows internet computer to interconnect with multiple blockchains in a decentralized manner, eliminating the need for single trusted intermediaries such as a bridge. You know, if you think about Ethereum, most of the issues with hacks or exploits. A lot of these occur on these bridges, which are smart contracts built on Ethereum and another ecosystem to merge the two and allow value transfer or information transfer between one chain to another. This has been a main criticism of Ethereum forever, but you know, at the end of the day, that's the technology they have. A smart contract is only as secure as the code behind it. And so obviously there are exploits that can be viewed, but a lot of competing ecosystems like Cardano, Internet Computer, they believe that the bridge is not the way to interconnect with other ecosystems. And so then the question is, well, what is the answer? Well, with Internet Computer, we have chain fusion technology. It used to be called something else, but it's basically chain fusion cryptography. that this is possible through decentralized bi-directional communication of the internet computer with other chains and the ability of the ICP smart contracts to sign and submit transactions to other chains. This technology enables smart contracts on internet computer to interact with multiple networks, allowing developers to realize multi-chain use cases and leverage ICP's unique capabilities. So, chain fusion or chain key technology allows chain key tokens, which are essential part of chain fusion. These chain key tokens, such as CK Bitcoin or chain key Bitcoin and chain key ETH, are created using ICP's chain key cryptography protocols, such as threshold signing. Unlike traditional wrapped tokens like a wrapped Bitcoin or wrapped Ethereum or wrapped staked ETH, which involve intermediaries that need to be trusted, each chain key token is backed fully one-to-one by the native asset and managed 100% on chain by the internet computer smart contracts. This offers a more secure and decentralized alternative without any intermediaries or centralized bridges. Transactions with chain key tokens on ICP are often faster and cheaper than transactions on the native tokens network. Very interesting here. And so you can see here the total, this shows the total number of transactions across all chain key tokens. And so we're at 732,000 on the 3-month chart. If we pull this back to the 1 year, you can see 2 million chain key transactions, with a large majority of that occurring at the beginning of 2025. And again, why are we seeing these spikes in 2025 in chain key technology? What is chain key technology? It's bridging internet computer to other ecosystems. Maybe bridging is the wrong word, but it's basically bridging ICP to other ecosystems. And so if we think about this and say, okay, internet computer has been working on AI for quite a while, where AI is running on internet computer. It's the only blockchain running running AI, period. Some of the other ones talk about doing it or say that they're working on it, but none of them actually have it going. Internet computer does. That's a big difference. And so understanding that we're seeing chain key or interoperability peaking at the beginning of 2025, and based on everything else that we just talked in this video about some of these other metrics really pumping up and starting to see kind of the upward trajectory, what does this tell you about internet computer? It tells me that we probably have something brewing, and maybe something brewing big, maybe a partnership, maybe a deployment of new technology, maybe new demos of the AI implementations that they have today. Remember, we haven't seen any live AI demos since 2024, the middle of the year, almost a year ago, from the Dfinity team. So I would imagine they've been working on AI and expanding AI over the last year. What are they going to release? It's a good question. And so looking at the chain fusion technology and looking at the actual charts, this shows us how much actual coins are fused from one chain and merged over to internet computer. What we can see here is Tether had a little bit of an uptick at the beginning of 2025. We can also see that that's pretty much all the uptick. But why did we have an uptick? Sorry, this is a 7-day chart, but let's pull up the 1-year chart of Tether. And you can see Tether went from basically 105,000 chain fused Tether or ICP Tether, 105,000 1 year ago. And now we have 2.5 million, which is a 25x increase in just 1 year of Tether. Now let's look at Bitcoin, CK Bitcoin. Let's pull up the 1-year chart here. So this is Bitcoin that's been merged from one chain to another. And you can see the 1-year chart. It's freezing on me. On the 1-year chart, you can see that basically last year we were at 227 Bitcoin, and today we're at basically 231 Bitcoin, but the price of Bitcoin is much higher than it was last year. So the actual value of Bitcoin on internet computer has increased from 1 year to the next. USDC, they have 1.1 million currently. Let's see where it was 1 year ago. Yeah, I mean, basically zero. There was nothing a year ago. So we had $1 million, over $1 million inflowing into the internet computer ecosystem. And then most of these other ones are just small amounts. But you can see that there is definitely interconnectivity with wrapped Bitcoin, with Uniswap, with wrap staked Ether, Euro, the Euro coin by Circle, the Shiba Inu, the PP coin, Octopus coin, Link, Chainlink, Ethereum, USDC, Tether, and Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, guys. In my view, all these changes to the internet computers dashboard, all these changes we're seeing with kind of spikes here and there in internet computer, this is very exciting. Again, you can look at the 38 DAOs that are on internet computer. We can look at all of the ecosystem projects, right, that are being built on internet computer, over 350 with Decide AI, right? AI is a big one. We're seeing swap platforms, EVM platforms, gaming, NFID chip, or I should say RFID chip, but these are using NFID chips. Interesting. So yeah, there's a lot built already on internet computer, and it just keeps expanding. And seeing all this stuff happening is making me even more excited. And maybe I'm just an internet computer bull, but I think that based on the technologies that we've talked about, based on all of the actual data that we've seen, I don't see how internet computer is not going to change the world, and I don't see how internet computer is not going to be able to achieve greatness across the board, right? Is it going to become number one and surpass Ethereum? Maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't have to be number one, right? We could still see explosive growth and more use cases and more integrations of AI and corporations and other blockchains utilizing internet computer, such as Hedera. We've talked about this recently. Hedera is now going to be powered by internet computer protocol. Cardano is copying some of the same technology that internet computer protocol is using. Something is brewing, and I think it's going to be amazing for internet computer. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you bullish or bearish on internet computer? If you have any other things or aspects of internet computer ecosystem you want me to cover in future videos, let me know in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up while you're down there. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you when I see you. Invest responsibly in crypto on.